shit.
Very good start.
Fucking just shit. Fucking shit. I'm sorry for any children watching and anyone watching in a like parental.
Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. It is the post-match fume with me and Yann. Arsenal 2, Everton 0. As you can see, Yann's already started early. Poor loss. Well, not poor loss. Decent performance, Yann. But just a bit of a kick in the teeth right at the end there to play so well. And our goalkeeper, who's been world class, to shit the bed.
Can you hear me?
Say? Is that the word?
Can you hear me?
Hear you. We can all hear you.
Oh, sound. All right, yes. Magic. I've just had someone say no sound, but I think it might be a local thing. Sorry, you'll have to repeat that. I was panicking. Yeah, that was. Thank you for joining us on Follow Everton as we go a little bit insane and possibly replicate Jordan Pickford. Where do you begin, Corey? Because for 89 minutes, nearly 90 minutes of that game, we played very well. We had a few lucky calls that potentially were fouls that weren't given. We had a few unlucky calls that I mean, Eze kept fouling and there was no yellow card and there were a few simple moments. And then Dewsbury Hall was quite clever and immediately got a free kick for a corner. And there's just, it was a very strange game that there was less football than I expected. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was, to be honest, mate, the game was more than what I expected. I was expecting it to be a bit of a slog. We were going to break the game up. I think we were quite attacking, especially in that first half. The second half was pretty much how I expected the game to go. I thought defensively we played really well. We limited them to chances from mainly outside the box, which Pickford dealt with comfortably. The only main chance that he had was that penalty, which they should have had, let's be honest. We got lucky with that one. But then you'd say the bulk of the chances, the better chances, fell to us. Obviously, McNeil with two, maybe one from distance. The one that was blocked by Calafiori, unreal block. Beto had a decent chance, brilliant save from David Raya. So on the grand scheme of things, on the game as a whole, I probably wasn't expecting anything. If I was to go through all the games between now and the end of the season, this would be the main one that I'd have us losing. A draw I'd have probably had.
I think I was talking more. I think maybe thinking of it a bit more considered though. I think maybe my expectations for the second half, based on the first half, was that we would have played more football because we were more competitive. We came out to play, and you could tell that Arsenal were rattled. And to have got that far in a game, I mean, like, you know, yes, there's people commenting on it. Yes, it's worth mentioning that, you know, they haven't run away with it this year. They've been a bit lucky here and there. And, you know, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, you might think that a considered fan would look at that, an Arsenal fan, and go, you know, yes, we got the win there and we were the better team, the balance of play, or maybe you're going to shock me with the XGs and stats and stuff. But on the one hand, I'd call that a lucky win. I mean, that second goal was just calamitous. But to get that so late, you know, it could have quite easily been ground out for a 0-0, and you'd be frustrated as an Arsenal fan because your team wouldn't have turned up and the opposition have defended well and really shown you why you're not running away with it. Yeah,
I don't know. I definitely a lucky win. I agree with that. They had more of the ball, the possession, as we anticipated. And it's just one of them. Like I said, it's a mistake from the goalkeeper. It's a defensive mistake. That's what's led to the goal. That is literally what it is. Pickford's head has completely fell off. He's come for something which he had no reason to do. Similar to the Bournemouth one, where the ball got into that position, he decided to come for it. If he stays in, it could be worth saying, if he stays in that position, the ball drops down. It could be squared to someone anyway. But Pickford's just made it so much easier for them. The second one, calamitous. Yeah, I mean, Dewsbury Hall slips over. But when you bring your goalkeeper up for a corner, it's these things happen. Mikel should have just brought his man down. When you've got the goalkeeper up, no goalkeeper in, bring your man down. Mikel should have just took one for the team and brought him down. But then again,
wouldn't that have been a ban?
Well, no, because he had Keenan Dewsbury behind him.
Okay.
The goal scoring opportunity. It's deep inside. It's in the Arsenal third still. It's not even in the midfield third. So he wouldn't have got a card. But like you said there, would you risk it? Your team's already 1-0 down. Difference between 1-0 and 2-0 and having your left back missing for the next game. So I'd get it. I'd have probably brought him down though. That's what I was screaming. It's 1-0 is a proper bitter pill to swallow because we've done really well. 2-0 kind of
makes it more palatable.
No, well, maybe for some people. I think it's more just it flatters Arsenal a little bit more. Like if we'd have gone and done, we've lost 1-0, it was close. We've got unlucky. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's closer to the. What I'm saying, what I mean by that is it's more palatable. Is if you go and even if it's competitive, but you lose 3-0, you go, okay, fine. That's the reason why they're top of the league, But I mean, but when it's 1-0 and you're so close towards the end of the game, it's almost the frustration. It's why the elation of getting a draw after losing feels so much better than a draw after winning. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, of course. Because it's at that point, it's a point gained as opposed to 2 points lost. So I get where you're coming from. I do completely get where you're coming from, mate. I just think it when you look at it in terms of the optics of it, if it's just 1-0, you've just lost the last last minute winner. You know what I mean? To the what is essentially champions elect. So do you know what, mate? One of the
I don't know. Sorry, Corey. You probably know this. If anyone is wondering, or if anyone who hasn't joined or who wasn't here right at the very start, I'm literally just keeping the lid screwed on from going on a bit of a rant because it is. I mean, to be so close to know that we go to Arsenal to hem them in to play that kind of football. Absolutely, yeah. It's some people could say it's shithousery. It's not playing football. You slow it down. You do this. You sit back and not have, or you don't have possession. We were so close to something. Now we're being joined here by Basil, who was at the match, and when he's got a little bit of solid signal or something, and he gives a thumbs up, I will, yeah. But I mean, I think Peter's summed it up on here. But you know what? Yeah, all right. It's frustrating, right? It feels like an embarrassing capitulation where people, non-Evertonians, people who won't have seen the match or the entire game, the cover was an Arsenal love fest, really. There were a few times when we weren't really getting the call of it, and he's gone down here. There's a player, yeah, because he's been fouled. They got it's frustrating. At least it wasn't an Arsenal huddle around the referee for the start of the Chelsea-Newcastle game, which would have been a bit odd. But, we were lucky not to get that free kick. And I'm just so frustrated at Pickford. And while he has these moments of brilliance, you can't say, I'm not going to balance it out by saying the brilliance counteracts the stupidity. Because if he's at that standard to make those kind of saves, oh my God, I love him for it. But there's a part of me that's going, what on earth were you doing going up at 1-0 down? Is it to try to get the point? Right? Because I get it, but it's not. Where's the instruction come from? Like it's is it a damned if you do, damned if you don't? But the whole point is the number of times we've scored a late goal from 1-0 down without Pickford going up anyway. And there would have been still time to play. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I can completely understand everyone in the comments saying that. I just think it's one of them. You'd be realistic in terms of what you expect from the team, what you expect from the manager. I expected this. We said, didn't we? It's a case of it's
That's
very much
fair point.
Yeah, I mean, over the balance of the whole game, you'd probably say Arsenal did deserve to win it. You would say if it were before that first goal, though, bound to the chances, we had more chances you can have because they didn't look like they were ever going to score. They did not look like they were ever going to get anything more than a draw out of that game until Pickford's head fell off. So, also, just to address some questions in the comments, I'm not wearing lipstick. I've just got pink lips. My colour palette when it comes to lipstick's a little bit darker. I prefer darker tones.
You've been kissing Laura before you come on. That's what it is. Yeah.
I'm more of an autumn girl. That's all I've got to say.
Fair. Bronzes. Yeah. We're just getting through some of the comments here. Obviously, there was a bit of banter while you were waiting for us to do our makeup pre going live. Phil, yeah, played really well. Keep getting your comments in, guys, because we are going to be. Oh, Basil's there. So while we get through that. Oh, hello, Basil. Are you still there? No.
You look different, Basil.
Well, you know what? Intermittently, we'll have some sort of joined by someone who's been at the match. But yeah, keep getting your comments in. They're on the screen here. Thank you very much. But do like and subscribe. Ryan will kill me for this, especially Arsenal fans. Get your comments in because we do want to know the opinions. We don't want to be too blinkered. We are realistic Evertonians. We weren't really going into that expecting to, if anything, we could have grabbed a point by hoping for a late goal, really. The kind of, let's be realistic. I'm not downplaying and I don't want to, yeah. But there, quite rightly, how did Arsenal not get a penalty? Yeah, it's just been.
Why was there not even any kind of conversation over the Saliba foul on Beto? Same thing. So to me, that might cancel it out a little bit. Look, just basically, I didn't go into this game expecting anything. I see we were missing our two best centre backs, one of them being our captain. I thought we were going to play a defensive game, certainly when I seen the lack of the two centre backs, and I thought we played a good game. Yeah, we want to go into games aiming for the win, but you go into the game, that's what I'm expecting from that. We've played a good game. We'd have all been buzzing with a point. It was, as Peter said, tactics have probably worked well to what we wanted to do, but at the end, Pickford's head fell off. He's been absolutely fantastic lately. He even made another world-class save, although it was from an offside attempt early on in the game from Saka. And he's just made a terrible mistake. So it's one of them. It's sickening. Everyone's going to be frustrated. Pickford's got the self-awareness to probably come out and say that he's ballsed up. So it is what it is. There's no point in us dwelling on losing to 2 late goals from a mistake after a good performance against, like I said, what's essentially the champions-elect. I'll just look forward to Chelsea next week and just do them over. They've lost to Newcastle today. We can get at them. We can get at them. Why not?
Okay. Just want to remind everyone. Just want to remind people in the comments, seeing it. Just flick through. It's all been fitting the narrative, and there's some things here. There's talk on: is it Moyes' fault? Was it tactical? Were the strikers good enough? Would it have made a difference? Do we need new strikers? All valid comments going through here. Just want to remind people: keep it civil in there. We're all a bit pissed off. We're all looking for reasons as to why. A couple of minutes before any injury time was added on, we were looking at a point where Arsenal and solidifying our place, hoping to reach up and get some European football. It's frustrating. I do get it, right? But even if someone is wrong in your opinion, well, they haven't got the microphone, have they?
Yeah, Kevin Kraft, he's making a good point. Arsenal breaking it at 80 minutes.
We've been joined by Basil now. Hello, Basil. Where are you? Are you hiding somewhere around the Emirates, or are you running from some rampant Arsenal fans?
Yeah, there's a lot of Arsenal fans around me, and I've just got to be careful, obviously, what I say around here, because they come out from all sides. Can you hear me? Okay?
They're just Arsenal fans.
Oh, they were they're on one tonight because obviously it's massive for them.
But you know what, Basil, can I just remind you to keep yourself safe? All you've got to do is go, ha, 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 Spurs.
Fair enough. If I put my camera off and then I can put my phone in my pocket instead of
absolutely
out to be snatched by people who don't
be safe.
But I am here. I'm happy to talk if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Undercover Baz.
It was interesting what you said, Corey, because I didn't think that it was a mistake from Pickford from looking at it from the far corner. But he sort of reached out for it, did he? And he missed it completely.
Yeah, he got a slight touch on the ball, but he didn't do anything with it. It was going to the back post. He just needs to keep his position there. Again, look, they may have squared it in for Gyokeres to tap the ball in regardless. But if you come for that ball, you've got to be ready to get it. He didn't jump up in the air. He was kind of going diagonal. So it's his mistake, mate. Honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, it's his mistake. But it's one of them. What it is.
I didn't feel like we were under massive threats for most of the game, to be honest. It kind of came out of the blue, the goal, and then obviously the second goal came. But I thought I'm going to stay and clap them off because actually they really did try their best there. But they were playing against someone with that amount of desire to get the win, to win, possibly, win the title. And they just fell up a little bit short at the end. And
Yeah.
a lot of Everton fans in there were frustrated, I would say. To give you the insider look, about 65, 70 minutes, a lot of people calling for subs, a lot of frustrated Evertonians. Personally, I didn't think we needed to make big subs, but I did think Barry was required because Beto was fading. But like putting on, subs that we're not confident in, George and Merlin roll, and it's a bit of a burp here. I'm not saying the atmosphere was any crazy atmosphere, but it is a bit intimidating for a youngster coming on, surely, in the Emirates with their support. They gearing them up to win. You've got to be really quite disciplined and stay level-headed. So I can see why he left the starting 11 on. But we just fell short today. That was the problem.
I mean, was there any? You've had calls. You said that fans were calling for substitutions, and that's been a common thing.
It's probably our hardest
was
fixture.
Was there anything
of
throughout the match that
remaining?
Did there feel to be, the sentiment there at the ground? Did there feel to be any sort of unhappiness, unfairness with the tactics, the refereeing decisions? Anything that you picked up from being there that maybe was different on TV?
Signals broke.
Oh, okay, well, we can still hear you. If you can hear me,
I can hear you now.
Like Arsenal fans are through Basil on the Thames.
Yeah,
I can hear you now.
I was asking if, was there any, you said that there was calls for substitutions about 70, 75 minutes. Were the fans responding to any other things with unhappiness or sentiment that was worth noting?
Well, we didn't get many decisions. It was noticeable that every free kick seemed to go against them, unless it was a purely obvious swipe where we were fouled. But any sort of 50-50 decision tended to go with Arsenal. Same with corners and stuff like that. It's harder to gauge from being low in the corner there.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a couple of times even commentary said that should have been a corner, or there's been some decisions there that were completely disregarded. That and you have to you wonder sometimes if there's an element of corrective bias by the referee when they think they've made a decision and then they go on another way because maybe they didn't give the penalty earlier in the game. I don't know.
There was one I thought Arsenal were about to break away, and I think it might have been a 3v1 or something. And I thought he gave the foul, and I wasn't quite sure, but maybe he's just trying to even it out because we should have had the foul, 20 seconds before that. It did kind of feel a bit like that. There was a really interesting. That's probably true, but they're all shy.
Yeah.
Oh.
The most interesting thing in the home end, can you hear me?
Yeah, fine. I might relinquish some sort of, I might be losing control of this because Ryan's come in and he's going to be, So,
right.
Yeah.
I think the most sort of interesting thing that happened in the away end, there was a lot of fighting in the away end today. I've never seen anything like it.
Really?
Yeah. I think there was Arsenal fans in the Everton end.
Oh, that happened when I went to the Emirates. That happened when we lost quite considerably a couple of years ago. I went to the Emirates, and with about 20 minutes to go, in the second half, I literally watched the stewards pointing and directing. I don't know if it was Arsenal youth players or other stewards or people that were just in Arsenal tracksuits, and there were just whole groups that must have come in together or come from somewhere or moved round, and it was or something, and it was really strange. There was whole groups of 30 and under Arsenal people just being let in. It was really, really weird.
It was very odd. At first half, there was 3 blokes who were about 4 rows down from me.
The stewards didn't want to move anything, didn't they? When I was there, they didn't move anyone, even after notifying them. They didn't move the home fans out of the away end.
Correct. Yeah, they're still doing the same thing. So the guy was getting really annoyed. He was shouting at them, saying, "Get out." And the stewards just didn't want to pull them out. Eventually they did, pull these people out. But that was a warning sign because at 90 minutes at full time, somebody else got found out. Big guy, Everton fans pointing at him. A massive fight sort of broke out. They were punching each other. I got it all on sort of clips and stuff. But the beef had come down. All the stewards, you had Everton fans like going in to help. So it was like a whole pot of like 50 people. And if you've got civilians just getting caught up in that, it was just very dangerous. And there was police. And I spoke to the senior steward, and he said the people who were alleged to be Arsenal fans were the Everton players' relatives.
Yeah, that's what they said last time, and it was bullshit. And they said there was sort of it was nonsense. It was absolutely nonsense because they were there all in Arsenal garb, speaking with London accents. It was bullshit.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell if they're more likely to be an Arsenal fan. Yeah, it's mayhem, and the seats there. I just don't know what's going on because the numbers are so far down on the back of the seat. You can't possibly see your number. So you've got like tons of people just congregating on stairwells, on like 4 people for 2 seats. Like you'd be lucky to see anything.
When I went to the Arsenal game after 15 minutes, the way that they were sort of managing it, I literally didn't have a seat. I just had to choose a place to stand.
Yeah, precisely. So they need to look at themselves there because it caused a big, it caused a massive incident.
It disrupts. And what does it do at the end? What does it do at the end of a team when it's 0-0 and there's 20 minutes to go and you've got the support and we are known for our vociferous support? It just, sometimes you need the 12th man, but even so, that's the footballing side of it, which seems to be the only thing that Sky and the FA and PGMOL and the Ombudsman and the Crouch Report and anyone with legal things, that's the only thing they seem to care about, the sporting spectacle and the integrity of it, because evidently they don't care about the safety of fans when there's literally, like, you've got video evidence today. You could check up on this and literally prove it and get like sanctions against a club literally at the drop of a hat. It could be decided by the end of this evening. You could see it. It's so fucking simple. So the fact they don't just demonstrates they don't fucking care.
Well, I do sympathise a little bit with the steward in terms of what can they do when there's so many people blocking spaces and not willing to cooperate. But they've got to do more, and they've got to strategize it better and check people on entry better. They do check bags and stuff quite heavily there, but not. They don't. Like one guy had an Everton and an Arsenal scarf. Somebody said he was wearing an Arsenal top under his coat, and they just let him through. Anyway, that's digressing from the game, but it was a big point in the away end. Anyway, I did think the goal that Arsenal scored, the first goal, I don't think I've heard a bigger noise from a goal being scored from an opposition team before. I think some sort of relief. I heard some Arsenal fans saying it was like 20 years of relief because they feel so close now to winning the league. Well, obviously not great for us, but
yeah. The truth is, it's not. Let's be honest. It's not calamitous for us. It was a mistake. It's not catastrophic because we didn't pick up points that we weren't really expecting to. And when you look at the quality of saves that were required to get us to the 89th minute at 0-0, okay, they've ground it out, but they've consistently done that, and they now are, top of the table. They've got a 10-point lead over City, and although City have got 2 games in hand, they're playing, is it Forest? No, who is it they're playing?
Who's this?
Arsenal. City. Who is City? Sorry, who is City playing?
West Ham.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, but they've got another game in hand as well. But it's still in Arsenal's hands, and they were hoping that they were
West Ham tonight.
Yeah.
They got West Ham away. Which should have kicked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, game kicked off 10 minutes ago. Well, 10 minutes ago, was it?
Yeah. And we are now joined again by Ryan, possibly, but he's not got his anything
just
working.
Going back to Everton a bit more. I thought we did create some Yeah. Everton did create chances in that game. I saw McNeil hit the crossbar, right?
Yeah,
Post,
and
yeah.
it came down to Better or someone, and it just came off his chest. And
Who's the-
Jai,
Jai.
he would have been offside anyway.
He was onside.
Oh,
They said he was offside because Alan Smith couldn't wait to cry more Arsenal shite in. But Njai was actually onside.
yeah.
I believe we had two shots on target in the first half, plus the Dewsbury Hall, McNeil, and the Ghana Gay efforts, which I thought was more than Arsenal did in that first half, although they did look threatening when they threaded balls in behind the centre backs. And then second half, we did start okay, and we created one or two chances, and we looked dangerous on the corners. But it did peter out our attacking threat, and we just thought, let's just take the points. And unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
That is an interesting point, though. Just as a bit of an aside, Phil says here, if West Ham beat City, that would put Spurs in the bottom three. Which, well, would it? Because of Forest?
Yeah,
I've only got 2 minutes.
All right, okay. Well, carry on. Oh, hi, Ryan.
Hello. I've only got 2 minutes.
Thoughts?
I think it's the most deflated I feel after a game, a result, because it felt like we were so good and I got so invested into the game, and then we just lose 2-0. Two really bad errors as well. I'm just going to start with the positives for me. Certain players never stop running. They never give in. The amount of mileage the likes of Illiman and Jai and Idrissa Gana Gueye put in, today was exceptional. The amount of work they put in, they certainly didn't deserve to lose the game. And there was others like that who had very strong performances. The defence did very well overall. I guess my frustration is when you get your chances, that McNeil one, he has to slot it. The one he whips to the post, very unlucky. The rebound hits in Jai. On another day, he hits that into the goal. The Beto swivel in, low shot, which Raya shouldn't have saved. The Dewsbury Hall with a chance. We had loads of chances. We were the better team in that match. And then to lose 2-0, it's a nothing ball into the box. Pickford, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're coming out there. And it's just hilarious. It made me feel sick watching it back. And then it's 1-0 when Pickford's going up for the corner. I don't understand it. And I think Mikalenko, all he needs to do is just chop the lad down, chop him down. And then there's another guy, Dewsbury Hall, chop him down. That's all you need to do. I think if you're last man of it, actually.
Yeah, but
I only
Ryan,
have one more minute. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to ask you that when you're saying chop him down, let's be honest. You can say if that safeguards us against like getting a goal, is that really the kind of football, or do you just not care?
No, I think you just chop them down. You don't get a second goal. The goal difference is going to be really key in this mini league in the middle of the pit, middle between Bournemouth, Brighton, Newcastle, Everton, Brentford, and I think I would have preferred just to have seen it, just not to have done that. I just can't see him scoring. Sorry, I think that would have just been ridiculous. What makes him any better than any of the others? Sorry, I thought it was bad substitutions as well. The players looked tired, but a little bit gutted because they work the socks off. On another day we draw, another day we win. But I've seen Moyes do that so many times, go to Arsenal, play well, and end up losing with some ridiculous moment. And lads, I credit you. I'm going to listen to this back later, but I just wanted to get that off my chest because it was really causing me some heartburn. And I'm really gutted, and I feel bad for Basil and Stevie as well for going to that and the sinking feeling on a result. It's because you don't expect to get anything, and then to come so close and to really truly believe you should have, and then to get nothing is a little bit heartbreaking, lads. So that was all I wanted to say for now. Sorry, I have to go.
No,
Thanks.
absolutely.
I love that, Corey. I love that setup. That's unbelievable, mate. That's unbelievable.
It's not my mate.
And Yann,
just broke it.
Yann, you sound crystal clear. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Terry's appreciating it.
Thank you very much. Go, mate.
Yeah, I have recently updated my setup, so I am quite pleased with my little. Yeah. So thank you very much. Right, get your comments in if you've got any thoughts you want to bring up. Because I mean, I'm going to go do a quick round. But is Ryan there? He's gone, or is he frozen? But thoughts on player ratings, because we could drag this on, but I mean, how can you dissect it? Really, it's the same thing as we played very well. We didn't have calamitous errors. We control. Forgive me, I don't want to paraphrase it and speak on behalf of everyone, but my God, I was watching that game going, I was not on the edge of my seat going panic, panic, panic. Even when Arsenal had the ball, we defended well. We covered we defended well with deep free kicks when you had to line. We weren't getting caught off. The players knew their weaknesses and they were covering spaces and letting players. Okay, yes, so sometimes there was the overlap or balls were being fed through to channels, but we knew what we were doing. And yeah, we might have played a little bit of shithousery, slow football, slow it down, or let them have the possession and just not do anything with it. Beautiful. But you know.
Yeah, I'll reiterate the point time and time again. Arsenal did not look like scoring. That game was ending in a draw. Arsenal did not look like scoring until Pickford shut the bed. That was literally it. I was watching the game. There's 10 minutes left, and I was literally just sat there waiting for my sausage and mash, thinking, you know what, this is in the bag. This Pickford shut the bed. It is what it is.
I've just got to point out, people are arguing about my home setup. I'm taking this a little bit personally because at the moment I'm doing some redecorating and rooms are out of order. And you know what? Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Everyone listening, he nicked the whole setup from Seven Waves Community Radio. broke into the gaff and Wallace and nicked it. That was a joke, by the way, just for any lawyers watching. Honey, please.
I've got receipts. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it was. Sorry, Basil. It's so frustrating to have played so well and to have just been let down by something so pivotal from a player that has been so consistent and so brilliant. And it's just, you can't be mad. I mean, you can be mad, but it's not like, Pickford's a fucking arsehole. You know, he's England's number one keeper. He just won the 4th save of the month.
But, I'm not actually that mad after that. After that game, as you might expect. Yes, I'm disappointed, more disappointed that we didn't get something out of the game. And I thought if we got the goal that we were so close to getting at many times, we would have held on to at least get a draw. But I think just letting it go on and on and on at 0-0, there was always going to be a chance that they could snatch something. It felt like on the goal, we were caught up a little bit up the pitch more than on other attacks Arsenal had. I haven't seen it back, but was it that we went forward a bit too much? Or, I mean, Corey, did you spot anything different? Because they seem to overload us.
We pressed less, mate. That was literally it. We pressed less. We let them get on the ascendancy. They had more of the ball. Probably made substitutions a little bit later. I personally would have liked to have Tyreek George on, an actual winger on for McNeil, but McNeil had to come off. There's no surprise that he brought Harrison Armstrong for him. Cedric Burnham, I thought he played really well. I thought he had a decent game, but he was tired. Yeah. All the plays he took off were the right plays to take off because they were all tired. Some of them maybe could have done about 10 minutes earlier and maybe got a bit more impetus on the game, and maybe could have been more attacking with the options that they brought on for Dwight McNeil. I mean, Peter, I don't think George is crap. Do I think he's going to be the guy going forward? I'm not too sure, but he's not crap, and it's still, you need an outlet. I think having Harrison Armstrong there, he was just going to go defensive. I personally, sometimes I think the best form of defence is attack. When Arsenal are pushing that many men forward, if you have someone who's absolutely rapid and play him just on the edge of your half or further up, well, that back line has to think twice. That back line can't just push on the edge of your box as well. Or if they do, you've got a chance to counter attack. Don't need to be fit enough for the league as well. Don't need to be fit enough. He's only coming on for 10 minutes. So, but again, even things like this, these are little things, Basil, mate. And it's not the end of the world. I understand what Moyes was trying to do. I've been more wound up in different games this season. I'll be more wound up probably in other games to come this season. But against a team that's top, you've had a good game and you're trying to just eke out the draw. It is what it is. Yeah, it could have been better. Yeah. We're all a bit frustrated. It stings a little bit, but it is what it is. Pickford's been fantastic for us. He'll come out. He'll know that he's messed up. Just give it a week. Go again for Chelsea and just take all the frustration out on them. That's it. Just don't lose your heads. Go on to the next game and keep your head.
I mean, take all the frustration out on Chelsea. Chelsea are going to be a bit frustrated today. Well, for a while, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, if they do that stupid huddle thing, which like the melts they are, then let's just go there and web them everywhere. Melts.
There you were, straight from the I don't know what animal you want to
You
be.
gonna call me a horse, yeah?
What? Christ. Okay, that's quite a compliment. Here we go. Yeah, Arsenal fan here. We're very lucky, and you played really well. I mean, I think we did to hold Arsenal for that long, but it just shows you their quality, their ability. Okay, there were stupid mistakes, but the fact that if that game would have finished 0-0, I would have thought that we were quite lucky, but we played well. Do you see what I'm getting at? And yeah.
We'd have been delighted. We'd have been coming on here. We'd have been delighted. Everyone in the comments would have been delighted. Maybe not Peter. But no, I think everyone would come on here and been delighted. Everyone would have come on here, been delighted. We've got a point against a team who are first in the league. They are champions elect. Let's be honest. Everything's in their hands. So
you know what, while Basil's still here, then shall we do player ratings?
Go for it.
Yeah, because I know you're probably eager to keep your phone safe and get off and get home.
Embassy at the moment towards west, which is where I live, more west. So I can stay on for a bit.
Okay, so I mean, with that in mind, where do you want to start? Do we do Pickford first, or we do Pickford last?
Come on, we want to end on a positive note. Let's start with Pickford first, and we can move better.
Okay.
Go on, Basil, mate. You go first.
Well, I haven't seen it back, but he kind of reaches for the ball from my perspective and completely missed it and left the goal empty. So he's obviously going to get negative points for that. And he went up for the corner, which I'm not sure he should have gone up for the corner. I don't know if that was his idea, but, it nearly failed a few weeks ago against Man U at home. And it's a shame because I thought we were going to give him a good rating. He pulled off a world-class save in the first half. I know it was offside, but I thought it was a ridiculous save. But obviously, based on that game as a whole, I'll give him a 4, a 3. It cost us the points.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Now they got 4-5. I'm happy to settle on 4 for Pickford.
Yeah.
4. Yep. Here we go. Moving on to the right back position then. James Garner, Mirko Jim.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he had a fantastic game. I thought he was possibly our best player on the pitch. Defended really well. Didn't give Madueke much. When Martinelli came on, didn't give him much. Was good defensively. That slide tackle that he made on Declan Rice was fantastic. Didn't even make contact with Declan Rice. He actually slipped to go down. Decent on the ball, clearing it out. I do think we missed him in the middle of the park, despite Tim and Gay having a good game. But I think for me, it's probably a 7 out of 10. If we did do that, I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Solid 7 out of 10. Good game. He could only do so much from playing right back when we're not really attacking that much. It's more counter-attack. But his deliveries were great and he defended really well. So,
wow,
yeah.
That's some. We're getting some. Thank you, Ole Larson. Thank you so much. Yeah, do get the likes on there because it does bump it up, and you can get some more banter with people, and it's more stuff for us to talk about. Get your comments in because we do try and get it up on the screen and talk about. Because everyone here is agreeing. I mean, there's obviously a few for Pickford. Sometimes try and keep it positive, but absolutely solid 8. I think. And summed up by Terry here, absolutely. Who's might be long gone, but is still got his finger on the pulse somewhere. Well, let's go jump the other side then. Mikolenko.
40.
He also had a good game.
Yeah. Couple of times where he did get caught out. Couple of times where Saka, Eze, Was it Martinelli as well? Just literally managed to get past him. And he struggled at times. I think he gave Dowman a little bit too much space for the ball that came in. But he done okay. For me, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'd say 6, because if we're giving Garner a 7, I think he was just a step above, and there were times when Mikalenko, the limits of his game, it's not that he's a liability, but the limits of his game get tested by certain opposition, and it was more apparent today.
Yeah, 6 is fine.
Yeah, that was okay. And absolutely, there we go. It's nice to see people appreciating him, that he's settled into a bit of a Hibbert role. So let's talk about O'Brien and Keane, because Keane drove forward a few times. He was relatively decent, but obviously we're missing Branthwaite and Tarkowski, and so I think the reason why I wanted to shift over from one fullback to the other to go to centre back straight away is it did affect our play.
Yeah, I think the fact that we had O'Brien next to Keane and not Keane Tarkowski worked a little bit, because we were able to play a little bit higher. You can see where Jake O'Brien has that recovery pace. One of the things we have as an issue, though, is, I noticed it today, is Jared Branthwaite's naturally left-footed, or both-footed, really. And there's a couple of times where when we've got the ball and we're trying to play out to that Arsenal press, because Michael Keane's not left-footed, his natural position isn't to let the ball go across and play it forward. There's a point where I thought Arsenal were going to pinch it from us. That's not his fault. He can't help being right-footed, not left-footed. It's just one of the other benefits that we get from Jared Branthwaite.
Do you think he was a liability? Because was it him with the penalty, with the clashing of feet?
It was him with the penalty. That's the only issue. Really, is him with the penalty, because it should have been a penalty. It was very clumsy. The one where he's pushed someone, that was nothing bigger. But yeah, for me, that's I had to give Keane a 7 out of 10 if it wasn't for that penalty. I know we got away with it, but in my mind, we've got lucky. So for me, that's a 6 out of 10. Still a solid performance, by the way. Still a solid performance, because if it wasn't for that, it'd have been a 7 out of 10 or more, because it was a very, very solid defensive game, just one mistake.
Yeah, I didn't see the penalty incident that well. I know Arsenal had about 2 or 3 calls for a penalty. Some looked, more than others. I thought we were slightly lucky on one of them. It might have been that one you're talking about. Keane, he defended the box really well. He headed everything away. I don't think it was that bad with his left foot. I think he's used to playing that side, but I get what you're saying about the balance. We are better with Branthwaite in there. So, yeah, I think 6 is fair. An average, but not a poor game.
Yeah.
Jake
O'Brien. Oh, sorry,
Jake O'Brien.
Yeah,
go on, yeah.
No. Because I was going to lump them together and say sort of 6, really. Although, having said that, if realistically, it's a 5, because Keane, for me, Keane was while he might offer today, he just didn't quite have a level head. And I think that could have very easily been a penalty. And you never know, behind the scenes, that could be the referee looking at it and going, okay, well, I'll favour Arsenal a bit later on. And it wasn't a lack of consistency, but there was consistency, sort of slight favouritism. Just it was the edge,
So what, you're giving him a 5?
Yes. I have to do a different face. I do have a Jim Carrey face.
And then Jake O'Brien,
Jake O'Brien.
Jake Branthwaite. Jake O'Brien next to him. What do we say, boys? I'll let you two both go first.
Well, I thought I'd probably give him the same rating, to be honest, a 6. And I think his defensive, I thought, Keane had his shaky moments, but I think also O'Brien looked a little bit more shaky when he was on the ball, like playing in that middle zone. I think he didn't really know what to do with it. There was one where he just wandered into the Arsenal midfield, and they had a counter attack from it. So I thought he probably needs to work a little bit on that.
Yann?
I mean, similar thing. The issue for me being that I would have said O'Brien would have probably got a 6 because it's his presence that seems to be he's he might not be the finished article, he might not have all the players around him, but he seems to do very well. And I don't, and I know I'm only saying that because of the result, because I just don't know how necessarily culpable he was in the build up and those sort of mad 10 minutes. But yeah, all right, okay. But so yeah, 5, 6, meh, same difference, really, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I'd have said 6 or 7. A 6.5. There we go. Let's go with the 0.5s because I do think Michael Keane was probably a bit more dominant in the air. A lot of people saying that O'Brien made a lot of mistakes today, but I don't think he was made terrible mistakes. There was a couple of times when the press was on and he was passing the ball quite well, quite sharp passing. He's definitely not the finished article, like you've said, Yann. And I think him going from right back to centre back can also affect your position, especially when your team's got the ball but you don't. Because he's pushing up a bit higher, he'll drift centrally anyway, and I think that's what potentially is affecting it. But I thought he had a decent game. Like I said, the fact that Arsenal didn't trouble us until what happened at the end, until that headfall, then I thought it was. I thought both defenders were decent. It's just just a penalty.
Well, my mum. No, don't. My mum said, she said, oh, they're really playing it, but I suppose that's a good thing. And I was immediately reminded, yeah, but that's the thing with Arsenal. They always try to walk it in, don't they?
What was Wenger thinking, bringing on Walcott that late?
What was Wenger thinking, bringing Dowman on that? Yeah, I know. Oh, you've got to laugh. Yeah.
That was Frank Lampard levels of like changing tone then, mate. So from straight laugh to yes.
Anyway, moving on. The next player.
This kind of game.
Do you know what? 6. He had a very good game. As did, I think, Irabunum. He actually had a very good game where he got stuck in. He wasn't the liability where he went in flailing, and he sort of, sometimes you can see a player where they're trying to do things that you go, no, you could do that a few years ago. You can't do it now. And it seems to be that he's adapting his game a little bit to suit his age or the style of football that he plays. So I was quietly impressed, and I would say 6 for both of them because Irabunum stepped up and loads of people were writing him off, and he had a solid game. Didn't do anything wrong, and they kept closing down Arsenal when they kept trying to do that play that they do in that dangerous crescent that's both in and outside the box, where they're trying to set it up, find a yard, quick play, pass off, bum, 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 goal, or bum, bum, a yard, shot, it's gone in. That's it. 1, 2, 3, gone, game gone. The fact that we closed down those so repeatedly that, yeah, okay, Pickford made a couple of good saves, but for me, 6, they're just not getting more because we lost 2-0. And it's a great shame because so many of the players tried really fucking hard today. Oh, I'm going to cry like my babies. So, yeah.
I agree. And I think, Tim, in previous games, even this season, the press that Arsenal were putting on him, he would have lost the ball previously. Yeah. And he wasn't dribbling out and turning people and getting forward, but he was playing the sensible ball, and he's mature. It seems like he's matured a little bit. So I'd maybe even give him a 6.5 or a 7. Yeah, like Peter Douglas nailed it there. Much more composed on the ball, which I think he was. He was just starting to lag a little bit towards the end of the game, and that's why he come off, understandably so.
I think McNeil. Did we see? Sorry, McNeil. Oh no. Let's get on to him afterwards. Sorry.
I agree with Corey there. I think Irabunum had a good game. I was a bit worried about him before the game. I thought he might be a bit of a liability in there with Garner, missing James Garner in that midfield. But actually, he played really well and he looked composed. He didn't really make mistakes. So I'd say I'd give him a 7, and I think I'd give Garner 6.5 because he was also everywhere and didn't really give too much away either.
Okay, so let's go round Irabunum, and in front of him was Dwight McNeil, and I think he had a very good game. And it was a shame. I'm concerned he went off with a hamstring. He stretched for a ball near the end, and yeah, sure, it's great that you're still seeing that kind of dedication, but did he come off with an injury?
I think it was just fatigue more than anything, mate. Because the way he walked off the pitch, he seemed fine. Yeah, I think it was just fatigue. I know what you mean, because when he went to when he stretched for the ball and he missed it and he held his leg, I don't think he's pulled anything. I think he's just he was just absolutely goosed. He did put a shift in again today. I do think he should have come off about 10 minutes earlier for fitness reasons as much as tactical reasons.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought he had a decent game. In terms of the goal, the shot that was blocked by Calafiori, I think if he was a bit more two-footed, he would have been able to shift the ball a little bit better. But he's got a very specific type of movement because of his limited ability with his weaker foot. Not just kicking it, but I think just standing and turning and things like that. Which
Breaking news. Sorry, I've seen a couple of things
West
here.
Ham.
West Ham have equalised Mavropanomamos.
So yeah, for that, I would say another 6 out of 10. It's a solid game all round.
Yeah, 6.5. I think for me, it was a decent game from him. He looked more threatening. He looked like he was carrying on from last game against Burnley, which is good to see. So hopefully we'll get that for the rest of the season.
And who should we go to now? No, I agree. Again, 6. Right now, I don't know whether to go for Dewsbury Hall and go across or go to the other wing and flip over and go for Njai first. Because, to be fair, I think my commentary will be very similar. We didn't see as much attacking play from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in that position, and we didn't see as much incisive play from Njai. But you have to remember that, like, Timber and Saliba, have been the solid sort of left side of Arsenal's defence consistently, and Saka's in front of them, and we were very good on a consistent press. So playing that defensive no possession football, you're not likely to see that. And knowing that we missed Garner in the middle of the pitch, of course, I think our style of play was going to be a little bit neutered and withdrawn. And because of that, I don't think you can criticize them for not being in the game, because they still did enough to threaten at times and get the ball in. That's just my thing. But I think whereas you said Garner might have been the man of the match, I think Dewsbury Hall's contribution, and I say this because earlier in the season we missed him when he went out, and his ability to keep the pressure consistent, his involvement in his position means that there's constant. Means that everyone else is not let down, and that there's less for everybody else to do, or they just have to do their job. And he's a very, very consistent team player that then contributes to the transition play that wherever he plays, it's just I can't get enough with how much I think he's been a fantastic signing for him.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for us. I agree with that. He's very, very good at driving us up the pitch. I think this is why I think he's better from a deeper position instead of the number 10 role, where he can drive it up and have people in front of him to pass the ball to, because he's got a decent pass. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Doesn't have nothing to do with this game today, I don't think, because of the tactics that we deployed. I thought he got very, very quiet in the second half, and I think it goes hand in hand. When he goes quiet, we go quiet, and I think that's a big, big part of it. I'm just looking at my camera now, and I've gone very, very red. Sorry, I've just noticed that. It looks like Jerry the Berry. So will people stop commenting on Corey's fucking appearance, right? Leave it out. I don't think anyone said it. I think I've just noticed it, mate. I've just noticed that my face has gone really, really red. I think my missus decided to poison me sausage and mash.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad you added and mash at the end of that.
And you hooked your puds as well, lad, to be fair. So So anyway, yeah. So I think it was quite symptomatic of us going quiet, or symbolic of us going quiet, and Arsenal getting more and more dominant on the game, because Dewsbury Hall had less and less of it as well. Thanks for that, Phil Gaiman, lad. Appreciate it. So I do think, though, I would have said a 6.5 for Dewsbury Hall. I do think there's bits where he was lacking. He just didn't get the full impetus of the game today. Maybe nullified by Arsenal. And I think there's 2 other players, maybe even 3 other players, who I think had a better game than Dewsbury Hall today. One of them we've already been to, and another 1 or 2 we're about to go on to.
Yeah,
Okay.
we obviously the attacking trio had the tough ass today. And we're saving Beto for last, are we? Because we want to end on a high. Is
Yeah,
that right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
well, and Jai
okay.
next. But what
Well,
would you rate Dewsbury Hall? Sorry. Oh no, you don't. Yeah.
I give Dewsbury Hall probably a 6.5. I was thinking whether he did fade out the game. He wasn't really involved that much, but I think it's just the nature of where he plays. He did muck in and get back, and there was one where I think he stopped it. They were in the box. I think he was like the deepest man, and he got his foot round it. I thought he simply put in a good shift. He looked okay when he had a few moments on the left hand side, just getting through. But he was up against like Saliba and Gabriel. They're just so strong and quick. They just don't give you anything really. So not as effective. But it was a tough game for him.
Yeah,
We do over rely on him a bit too much, as Corey said.
I was going to say, to see that our game is neutralized when he's isolated or not involved, or the tactics don't suit the. Yeah, it's almost like.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, it's almost like without him and Jack Grealish, that was what we were riding high very early days, and the industriousness of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and then we had sort of solid defensiveness. We were patching over the cracks of not having recognised fullbacks, and James Garner was just slotting in everywhere and getting the job done, and that's how we were doing it. And I suppose that resilience, that ability, that stride that we've got into at this point, and maybe a resurgence in confidence has allowed us to, go to Arsenal today. And even though we lost 2-0, my God, I can't really fault the players. Even Pickford, I can't. You can point out the fault, exactly what it is, but do you want a lesser keeper who's going to let in 10 more goals, 15 more goals this season?
Yeah, he saved us way more goals and points than he would have lost us with today's performance and anything this season. So no, I agree with that. Shall we move on to Illiman and Jai? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were on him, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think. Sorry, I've gone blank. 7. Yeah, about 7 out of 10 for Illiman Jai. He faded as well, but all our main chances, that big one for McNeil early on, come from him. Good football, brilliant left-footed ball in. He done a brilliant nutmeg of Timber, I think it was, or Saliba to send Idris Agana Gate to put one in as well. So. Yeah, without the end product, the 4 Illiman Jai was a 7 as well.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, the fact is that a lot of Arsenal players, where's their XG? It's not very much.
The 2.9, I think theirs was, but you take into account that they had one goal that was a tap-in, literally from a yard out, and the other one was an open goal. That's going to massively bump up their XG. So,
yeah, I mean, it's individually. Well, what were the match stats? Where does this go now? XG 2.5 to 1 and 25 shots to 9. It is quite a bit of a damning lot of statistics, really. Oh, what I'm saying is, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's phrasing. Is that absolutely you can fault him for the mistakes, but generally you can't fault him. It's not like I'm saying get out or he's shit, anything like that. It's just, it's one of those things. And of course, Everton being Everton, it had to happen today. It couldn't have happened when we're 2-0 down away from home with 5 minutes left to play, and then you capitulate and it's 3 or 4, and you just go, well, that just sums it up. No, it has to be when we're away at home. We've had a really good performance, and it's 0-0 against Arsenal. Yeah, but. Yeah, anyway, back on to Beto.
Ford's had a very solid game again. His hold-up play, much better. Similar way to Tim Igbounam, he was not losing the ball. He's getting rid of the ball at the right time. He's still not the finished article. He's still not going to be a world-class Premier League player, but he had a decent game. I think the shot that Raya saved, I think it wasn't like it was handed to him on a plate. It was back to goal, and he's worked that himself. So I thought he had a decent game as well. Without scoring a goal, I actually think 6.5 is a fair reflection, maybe even a 7, if I'm being generous. But I thought he had a very solid game, and he's in good form at the moment. He's keeping Tierney nobody else, rightly so.
Basil?
I thought he wasn't holding on to the ball that well, to be honest, from where I was. I think people in the crowd were getting a bit frustrated. He did hold it some of the time, but you need him to do more. It was just a very difficult ask for him against those centre-backs, as I said before, and he just didn't seem to be able to get the better of them, really. So, yeah, he wasn't bad, but, I would have liked a little bit more. So, a 6 for me.
But I thought there was a couple of times when it's evident that he doesn't have the experience of a Premier League player that's been playing in the league for 5 years or something. When Arsenal defenders are using the tactics when it's not entirely football. They're holding a plan, then the player, they're nudging, they're walking in front of it, and he's just not quite. He might be strong, but sometimes if you're gonna. The best forwards will realise after 5-10 minutes or something, or 20 minutes, I'm not going to get any luck playing this kind of way. I'm going to have to, vary it up a little bit. And I don't know whether we've got enough tools in the matchday toolbox to allow him to do that. I wouldn't necessarily say. I just think, as you say, he's quite rightly nullified, but I don't think he did anything particularly wrong. It's not like there was huge any.
No.
Yeah. So 5, 6, meh.
But there was times when he had moments where he could have got on the break or pulled it down, and he almost overdoes his strength and he gives away a foul.
Yeah,
I agree that can be the case. I don't know if I've seen that as much today. He is coming up against the best centre back pairing in the league and potentially the world in Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we didn't get the players around him to help him in the first half. When we were looking at our best, we did. He was holding the ball and he was laying it off to Dewsbury Hall quite a bit. So I thought he done quite well in that regard. I do agree with what you're saying. He's definitely not polished, and he's definitely not going to be the man going forward, let's be honest. We'll probably sell him in the summer, so we cash in on him. But I thought he had a decent game. I don't think he did anything majorly wrong, apart from once where he tried to shift the ball out wide right to Dwight McNeil and just completely undercooked the pass. Apart from that, it's one mistake out of everything else he did, and I thought he done okay. He's just come up against a very physical back line, a very good back line. Like I said, is it only Manchester City and Arsenal got a better defence the better defence record than us? And that's just because they've conceded 1 so far tonight. We've conceded 2. If they concede any more, we're on level on the same defence.
And I do believe it's half time at the London Stadium as West Ham managed to make it to half time 1-1.
Which is interesting. Down with Spurs or down with Forest, actually.
So, I mean, look, there was someone in here before, and we're going to have to mention it because there might be some people, it's just a point of view, but let's not get attacking anyone. Somebody was repeatedly talking about Moyes out, and I'm not going to get it up here because I don't feel any need for that because, as I repeatedly say, who's going to come? If we couldn't get the players when we've managed to perform as we have done, and so many players, a couple of players that we've got. Okay, Roll, Asnu, Dibbling, where are they? Grealish has disappeared, and we're still doing okay. And the fact that Moyes came in and, you'd think that maybe there was a bit of a unfair representation of us, of how we've been presented to whoever we approached to join us that didn't want to. But of course, they want European football, as was mentioned. But, I don't see the solution as getting rid of Moyes, and I don't see that as being Moyes' fault. What would we have done? Was it an instruction from Moyes to send Pickford up? Was it Pickford's fault that the I don't know.
To be honest, mate, I always think something like that. You're a goal down. What would you rather do? Would you rather get a point, or would you rather get the goal difference? An extra man up top. I have nothing wrong with that. Go for it. I get excited to see it. Maybe it's the romantic in me as opposed to the pragmatic.
The Hail Mary, yeah.
Yeah, just go for it, you know what I mean? It happens sometimes, you know what I mean? So I've got nothing wrong with that. Look, if it comes down to it, we lose out on goal difference by 1 goal, we're going to be fuming. Ryan's head is probably going to explode.
What I've got to say just to this, though, is to factor in, while that might be true, we might not be good enough, we might crash out, but the whole thing is, we're in Europe. The fact that you have a European, the fact that it affects the coefficient, or the fact that you get income from it, of course, it changes the threshold for your profit and loss or your revenue percentage allocation. But it's a step in the right direction. It's another position up the league, which is another couple of million quid, and it all adds up. That's my thinking.
And look, we might not have the squad now. Okay, you could argue that if you look at the Forest squad and you look at Palace squad and how well they're performing, or they've been performing in Europe, but then maybe we have got the makings of a squad. But that's what the summer's for. The summer's there. We've had to make 10 transfers in the summer, and that's because we've lost a lot of players. We should make another 10 in the next transfer window in the summer, because we need to. It's not getting the main players in; it's getting squad players and maybe a couple of superstars, i.e., in your fullback positions. So then you can add to that squad. What it also does is then players who maybe we didn't get. Moyes had alluded to this in previous press conferences, including the most recent one for this game, that we missed out on players because they didn't want to come to Everton. Well, if you're in Europe, that changes the conversation. It changes the idea in players' minds. They're going to a European team. They're going to be able to advertise themselves on the world stage. So that also adds to it, which helps us in the league, helps us as a club long term, and it just helps us progress in Europe. And then also on top of that, the players who maybe aren't getting games at the moment, your Harrison Armstrong, your Tyler Diblin, your Tyreek George if he stays, Adam Asnou. Or maybe when you play in the other teams in Europe, there's an extra 6 games there. You're gonna have an extra 8 games, is it? No, an extra 8 games that you've got before you even get to the knockout stage. You're gonna have to rotate more. Then players are gonna get the development that they need, and we can't just keep them players on the bench and not use them. So I don't understand the whole let's not get into Europe. You aim as high as you can, and then you leave that to your backroom team to do their job. Front of house does their job. Get yourself into Europe.
And ultimately, if it shows that the recruitment is failing, or the contracts, or the player retention, or anything like that, because the on-pitch performance is overperforming, and they're getting themselves on, they're getting themselves in a position where they're playing for Europe and competing, then it's up to the business side of the football operations to go, oh crap, we need to compete at this level. Otherwise, we're going to do the Arsenal under the Cronkies, or you know what I mean, that they used to do, where it was like, are they really aspiring for the top spot? But we could bang on about this, but we've covered the match. It's an hour. There's the second half of the West Ham City game. Basil's trying to get home. It is now 8:55 on a Saturday night, and I'm sure there's lots of stuff that people would rather be doing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that, Corey, Basil?
No, I think I'm having an allergic reaction. That's about it.
To Arsenal.
Right, on that note, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Do subscribe, and tell everyone about it. But watch this back again, or don't. I'm not the boss of you. But as it is, have a good weekend, and we look forward to next week, home game against Chelsea, where hopefully we can upset them, because why the fuck not?
Into them melts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a bit disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. Arsenal away, played well. Yeah.
Love yous. Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees.
On that note, up the fucking Toffees.
On that note.
Bye.